Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today I have an amazing personality with me to talk on our education system. A teacher of teachers and a life coach, Sir Fariduddin Qureshi. Assalamu alaikum, sir. How are you?
Walaikum assalam. I'm very good. Thank you. And thank you for the kind introduction.
Thank you, sir. Sir, what is a life coach?
That's a question that a number of people do ask me. And I think, in simple terms, life coach is someone who helps you. I mean, this is my own definition, that helps you clear the fog around your mind. Whenever we face some decision in our lives, whenever we have to make a decision, then there is more than one option that we have, and we are confused between those options. So as a life coach,
Right.
what we do is that we help the people clear that confusion and reach a decision. We don't give them any option. They already have those options. So they
Yes,
just
sir.
need someone to help them, decide about any one of those. So that's what a life coach does.
Okay, sir. Sir, Pakistan has the second largest out of school population after Nigeria. According to a UNICEF report, around 22.8 million children between the ages of 5 to 16 are out of school. Unsurprisingly, these kids can neither read nor write, as a result of which they are labeled as illiterate or uneducated. Some scholars believe that such labeling is unjustified because children did not stay out of school purposely or willingly. Their socio-economic conditions or even geographical locations do not allow them to join the school. Um, Therefore, children have not failed to reach school. The school have failed to reach these children. The solution suggested in this case is a concept known as deschooling. Sir, what is deschooling? What children learn, from whom they learn, and how will they learn?
Okay, can you please repeat the question, the last part? That was not clear.
Sir, what is deschooling, and what children learn, from whom they learn, and how will they learn?
I think there are in yes, some of the answers of your question was in the in your sentences, that yes, the schools have failed to reach the children, and we have a large population of children who are out of the schools, who are unable to go to
Okay,
the schools. But then we have to look at the reasons that why is this not happening, right? So it's
okay,
not just that. Maybe normally what people do is that they put the blame or put the responsibility on the children that they don't want to go to the schools. But the reason is happening on a broader scale.
okay,
We have
sir.
to look at the socioeconomic status. I think for me, as much as I have seen, the biggest reason is the socioeconomic status.
Right, sir.
You see, parents are quite aware of what is happening around them. So they see that those children who got education, who get the education, who study till the higher classes, what do they get in return,
Right, sir.
right? So
Yes,
so what appeals to them more is that sending the kids uh, to do some work, or maybe in the workshop or somewhere where they get some skills, and then they
yes.
become a large source of revenue generation for the parents. So
Right,
that's why they don't send them to the schools, I think. So that is something which is very alarming. But again, we cannot put a responsibility on one of the elements solely. It is
right,
happening
sir.
at a broader level, right? So,
Yes,
but still, I think even in this situation, there's a lot that we can do. That
right, sir.
if parents are not willing to send the children to the schools, maybe the schooling can happen in an informal way. The education can
Right, sir.
happen at an informal way. I think I would say that. So
Right, sir.
yes.
Um, Sir, I astonished to note that our school's boundary wall is broken and children of nearby colonies play in its ground in the evening while animals and stray dogs could also be seen roaming on its premises. The schools without boundary walls have either become cattle pens or dens of drug addicts. The open grounds of the institutes are being used by children of neighboring localities as playgrounds. So, why do we always talk about privileged school systems and ignore children sitting on the ground and having no wall schools?
I think this goes back to a long time. I think this mindset which is prevalent in our society goes back to, it has its roots in the colonial system that we had, unfortunately. The British people who came here, so they had to segregate themselves from the local people here, right? So, and
Yes, sir.
hence the classes in the society, right? So they went
Right, sir.
back, but they left that mindset here. So that's why there is such a visible segregation in our society between the private schools and then the public schools. I believe I
Yes,
have I happened to live in England for some time, and I was amazed to see the public schools there, the level of the public schools, the quality of education that they were providing. Why? Because government has owned those schools, and
right, sir.
they discourage people from sending their kids to the private schools because they are quite expensive. Yes, they are for the elites, but very short segment of the elites. Most of the
Right,
people, they send their
sir.
schools to their children to the public schools. In Pakistan, when we see, you go into Balochistan, you go into Sindh, the interior Sindh, and in some parts of Punjab and KPK as well. You see, the
Right, sir.
feudal system in our country is damaging, is very much damaging to the education. The feudal lords, they don't want the people, they don't want the children of the common people to get educated, because if they do,
Right, sir.
they'll start questioning their practices. So that's why you see these things that you just highlighted, that there is no boundary to the public school. If there is boundary, it is more of a dairy farm, or otherwise it becomes a den for those the goons of those lords. So
Right, sir.
that is why it all comes down to the priorities of the higher ups. Government is not paying any attention. Everybody is playing
Yes, sir.
politics. So everybody is fighting for the seat. So the priority education is, I think, quite low in the priorities.
Right, sir. Okay. For the past decade, Pakistani students have made their mark and attained numerous distinctions all over the world. They have designed and created some of the most innovative projects. They excel in spite of so many difficulties and lack of proper system. So my question is, sir, that why do we need so many motivators?
Okay, so this is a very interesting question. We can classify those motivators into two categories. One one is those motivators, for example, our parents to start with, the immediate family, our siblings, our parents, who motivate us to do something, right? And then we have some certain examples from around us in our society, in other countries. We see people doing good, and then we also want to do good, right?
Yes, sir,
So
right.
that kind of motivation, I think we all need it at some point in our lives, right? For example, if I am appearing in class 10th examinations or levels examinations, I would or somebody gives me an example of someone who got good marks or good grades, obviously that is going to motivate me. So we all need such kind of motivation. But on the other
Right,
hand,
sir.
we see a growing number of motivational speakers around us who just
Right, sir.
put in. I see a lot of people putting motivational speaker in their bios. You know,
Yes,
so
sir.
I think that is something which is damaging the true essence of motivation that we need. You see, reading
Right,
books and
sir.
then reproducing that book in front of a number of people is not motivation. Because if we are
Yes, sir.
trying to motivate someone, we need to give them something concrete.
Exactly, sir.
You see, I
Sir,
attended a motivational. Sorry. Yep.
sir, just a random question came to my mind. Is it the responsibility of feudals to open schools?
Primarily, it is the responsibility of the government, of the provincial
Right, sir.
government or the federal government as well. They need to put limits on the it all it's I think it's all about you scratch my back, I scratch yours, right? So
Right,
the
sir.
government turns a blind eye to whatever is happening at the lower level. Why? Because they have to get benefits from those people, from those feudal lords. It's not their responsibility. They are just
Okay,
taking
sir.
advantage of the situation. They are just taking advantage of the situation which is going on for quite a
Right,
long time. So it has become
right,
sort
sir.
of a way of life. The people, the common people, they have accepted that situation. They don't question it. Somebody who tries to question
Okay,
it
sir.
gets into hot waters.
Right, sir. Sir, why do we emphasize so much on English and couldn't place our mother tongue in proper box?
I think English is, like, as we all know, that it is a medium of it is the official language of Pakistan, right?
Yes, sir.
So the national language is Urdu, right? But the official language is English. So yes, it is important. We all need to know English. We need to know how to. We should know how to speak English. But the problem
Yes,
is,
sir. Exactly.
the problem comes when we consider English as a measure of intelligence. That is wrong. If somebody speaks
Right,
good
sir.
English, it does not mean that he or she is really actually intelligent or knowledgeable. It's just a language,
Right, sir. Exactly.
right?
Yes,
We
sir.
see the Chinese people, they communicate in their own language wherever they go in the world. They know English. I think they speak better English,
Right,
but
sir.
they don't quit their own language. We see the Japanese, they value their
Exactly.
language. The problem again comes in the mindset of our people, that speaking in Urdu, which is our language, or speaking in Punjabi or Sindhi, or any of the regional languages, we consider it as, that if we speak in our language, people will think about us as somebody backwards, you know. So that is wrong. I
Right,
think
sir.
that mindset needs to change. Otherwise, there is no problem.
Okay, sir. Sir, gamification in education. Educators apply game design elements to an educational setting. The goal is usually to make learning more engaging, but unfortunately, most parents don't seem willing or convinced to this type of learning, while the world has moved on much in this context. Sir, what do you say about it?
Human beings, for millions of years since we are here, we like to listen to the stories. The little kids, before going to sleep, they ask their parents to tell them stories. So same
Yes, sir.
applies on the games. So that is an informal kind of a way to learn things. When we go for trainings, we emphasize a lot on activities. Why? Because that conventional lecture system is effective to a very little extent. If the
Yes, sir.
training duration is 3 hours, I can't go on lecturing them for 3 hours. I'll
Yes,
have
sir.
to come up with certain activities which reinforce that learning, right? So same goes for this education.
Right, sir.
Especially during these COVID times, this was realized that, okay, we can go on to those unconventional ways of teaching, right?
Right, sir.
So if we, for example, I think the games, they enhance the critical thinking. They
Right,
enhance
sir.
the sense of collaboration among the participants, rather than putting them into competition, because I think at times competition is harmful for the mindset, for the thought process. So yes, parents, as far as the concern of parents, to some extent I agree with that. They are right in showing their concerns, but then again, we have to have some awareness sessions for the parents to tell
Right, sir.
them that how advantageous this approach is. So there is no harm in it. Students, or rather, students will learn more through this approach. So
Right,
it's
sir.
all about raising the awareness, telling them, you go and ask parents, most of them would not be aware of this thing, that
Right,
gamification
sir.
is something. So they need to know.
Right, sir. Okay. Sir, other than gamification, what is the role of modern teaching techniques in our education system? Or they are mere theory for us?
No, I think technology, and we have a very recent example for that. Again, I'll refer to the times of COVID, that if we did not have this technology, then those that 1 year or 2 year or 1.5 year would have gone wasted. You see,
Right, sir. Yes.
immediately the education institutes tried to switch to online teaching, to the online classes through that was through Google Classroom, through Teams, through Zoom, or through any other platform, whatever was suited to them. So I think technology, there is no one can deny the importance of technology.
Right,
You
sir.
see, it is only about the training of the people, of the students, to learn to how to use them more effectively. Because we see, I think in the truer sense, we shifted to this technology, or we adopted this technology in the last only 2 or 3 years.
Right, sir.
So it is still
Okay.
in the process of evolving. It is still in the process of adaptation. Not all institutes have been able to adopt to those methods, but I think it is going on.
Okay,
I
sir.
mean, most of the universities that I have seen, they are shifting towards the hybrid model. See, they
Okay.
go for the physical classrooms as well as for the online platforms too.
Right, sir.
However, it suits
Okay.
them.
Okay, sir. Sir, this is the last segment, and it's a fun segment basically. Sir, since I'm a student of political science, so the last segment is about idioms. You are requested to use these idioms in your sentences related to our present political system.
Okay,
Are you ready, sir?
so this is like a rapid fire round.
Yes, sir. Blessing in disguise.
Okay, blessing in disguise. I think so I have to use it in the political scenario, right?
Yes, sir. Present
So
political system.
you won't judge me for my political inclinations, would you?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think the straightforward approach of Imran Khan became a blessing in disguise for the PDM people.
Okay, sir. Give the benefit of the doubt.
Mm. Give the benefit of doubt. Mm. I think we would really like to give the benefit of doubt to again to Imran Khan.
Okay, sir. Hit the nail on the head.
Ah. Let me think. Hit the nail on the head. Mm. I think that Imran Khan should have hit the nail on the head when he had built that political momentum in the country. But probably uh, I think he got a little late.
Okay, sir. Sacred crow.
Uh, can you elaborate it? What does it mean? Sacred.
Sorry, sir, I couldn't hear you.
Uh, uh, what did you say? It is sacred crow.
Yes, sir.
Ah, okay. I heard about the sacred cow, but I think this is a new one. I think for all of us, the heads of the political parties that we follow, we make them sacred crows for us. So we don't question their ways.
Okay, sir. Storm in the teacup.
Mm. I think every new narrative turns out to be a storm in a teacup eventually.
Okay, sir. Far cry from.
Mm. The far cry from the okay. I think the propaganda of few of the political parties about Imran Khan is a far cry from the truth.
Okay. Okay,
Now,
sir.
by
Sir,
now,
thank
you
you
would
so
have
much
judged
for your
about
time.
my inclinations.
Okay, sir. And the last one is a piece of cake.
A piece of cake.
Yes, sir.
Uh, mm, piece of cake. Uh, the PDM thought that that running this country would be a piece of cake based on their previous experiences, but it did not turn out to be so. So they are
Okay,
in a
sir.
difficult time.
Okay, sir. At the end, thank you so much for your time. It was a wonderful discussion, and I'm really grateful to you, sir.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
I will end my discussion with a prayer that may Allah bless our country, Pakistan Zindabad.
Zindabad. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.